thought I would come out and do some walking, and I've walked around the arena a few times. 6 times around the arena is a mile. The horses are over here getting some sunshine. There was some other presentation I was listening to on a different channel about planetary alignments and black spots on the sun and plasma ejections, and I really don't know. I mean, I don't have any expertise on any of that. I do know that weird stuff's going on in the world. I mean, obviously, all you have to do is read the news if you can bear it. And, oh, buddy, I want these horses to go out and go outside the fence line and start eating the dead grass out there, because for one, it saves me on the cost of round bales. That's important, you know, and they can go out there and eat for free. And number two, it's actually fire prevention, because here in this part of the country, there's just an elevated risk of wildfires because of the lack of rain. And so they go out and they can eat on that. See how they eat this arena down? Well, they can go out there and eat that grass out there, and you have less potential for your property to catch on fire, and that's pretty good deal. And it's kind of funny, governmental agencies, the BLM, so forth, they've reduced the horse population, taking them out of areas that really could have been assisted by their presence because of the grass and stuff they eat. So all these places that have all these wildfires could have been prevented just to let the horses roam around like they're supposed to, like nature intended. But you know, humanity and its governments and all that have a real tendency to fuck things up in that regard, don't they? Yep. It's just kind of mind-blowing how we've just caused so much harm to the ecosystem of the planet. It's just an extraordinary thing. Then you have all this war stuff going on, and I read an article on the internet this morning about, I guess, parts of Europe potentially running out of fuel for their airlines, and you see other parts of the world, I guess, running into the same problem, you know, because of what all's going on. Anybody ever remember a documentary? It was called Collapse, by a guy named Michael Rupert. I guess he's the one that directed that. And then he eventually took his life. That's a different topic. But he made this documentary about how the resources and so on and so forth would eventually just dry up. And at the time I saw that, it was probably around 2008, somewhere in there. I think that's probably when that documentary was made. And then, you know, I kind of took it in with a grain of salt, like everything. It's like, okay, well, that's a possible Mad Max scenario. I mean, and then you fast forward to 2026, and it's like, that documentary might have been a real thing, and we're seeing it play out. I don't know. I know that Australia, I read another article that Australia is, I guess, really dealing with this issue of fuel shortages and because of everything that's going on. Isn't that where the movie Mad Max was supposedly, just, fiction, but isn't that where Mad Max took place? Another kind of interesting thing. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. I couldn't tell you what's going to happen, but just the energy and it's all getting kind of surreal. Some other channel was going on about planetary alignments and black holes on the sun and plasma ejections, all this stuff. I don't know, maybe. Who knows? Maybe there's just so many things going on we really can't even comprehend it. And all I can say is just kind of just hang loose. That's my philosophy. When I start feeling anxious or just weird vibrational energy, I come out and walk, or I work out, or whatever, and just go with the flow, because at the end of the day, that's going to be kind of, a necessity, just to go with the flow. Move with the current. What happens when you try to swim against a current, or you get caught in a riptide and try to swim against the current? Well, you drown. Maybe a riptide's not a really great example, but go try, swimming uphill. Against the current, swimming against the current in a river or something. I went to Colorado a few years ago. I guess it's the Colorado River that is up there in South Fork. I believe it's that. And if I'm wrong, well, I'm wrong. I thought it was the Colorado River. But that river used to always have lots of water in it, and people would get in it and raft and do water rafting and stuff. Well, when I was there a few years ago, I would say it was around 2017, there was no water. In places that had been prosperous about, or successful, like renting out equipment to go down the river, whether it's rafts or kayaks or whatever, they were closed. There were just wildfires raging everywhere up there. I don't know what the situation is now. I haven't been back there in many years. If anybody knows, drop a comment. But I don't know now if, but when I was driving up there and driving back, it was just a lot of fires and stuff up there in those mountains. And of course the river was, practically a trickle. It was just crazy. It's crazy to me. But whatever that river there in South that runs along there in that South Fork area, I'm pretty sure it's the Colorado River. But anyway, all right. What else could we talk about? Hell, maybe there'll be some massive ass solar flares. Yeah, maybe the Earth and Sun are gonna team up like a tag team match and just do a number. Bring it on. Rightly so. Humanity has been all too consumed with itself. People and their egos. 8 billion people on the earth. 8 billion egos to have to sustain. It's just it's just ridiculous. Well, anyway, that's it, I think. I don't really have anything else to say. That's all I want to say about that. Yeah, I don't know. Things are just getting a little strange. But anyhow, all right, well, stay loose. That's all I'd say.